I'm Elizabeth Henson. Welcome to the Messy Success Podcast, where I'm helping creative dreamers and overachievers tackle business and life. After 6 years of being my own boss, I finally unraveled a tiny bit of what it takes to survive in this amazing world of being an overly creative entrepreneur. I'm your business bestie, here to help you with all those big ideas and to normalize some of the day-to-day struggles that we all share. My mission is simple. I want more women to make a living doing what they love and to feel good about themselves in the process. The best way to start? We can't do it alone. So welcome. I hope you'll hang out with me here where it's totally okay to be messy. All right, hello there and welcome to episode 13. Today we are going to be digging into a lot of my offbeat philosophies around marketing. This is why I called it Messy Marketing with Elizabeth. Now, you guys know that I am very type B. I like to say that I have messy success. I give myself lots of grace. One of the reasons I created this podcast was because I wanted more women to realize that we don't have to fit into this type A planner world to run a successful business, that we can be ourselves and we can tap into some of the things that we're really good at, even if we struggle when it comes to organization sometimes. So marketing is no exception to this part of my personality. So I have kind of put together 3 core pillars behind my messy marketing strategy. Okay, the first pillar is showing up. The second pillar is networking. And the third pillar is focusing on the things that I love. And I'm going to dig into this today for hopefully a short and sweet episode with tons of takeaways for you. So first of all, let's talk about showing up. I always say that it is better to show up imperfectly than it is to not show up at all. And I know that one of the reasons that my business has, thrived and succeeded over the past 6 years is because I continued to show up every single day. I show up when it's hard. I show up when it's fun. I show up when it's messy. I just continue to show up. And it is always in a little bit of a different capacity. This week, for example, my youngest daughter got sick, so she didn't go to school yesterday, and my schedule's just been a little bit thrown off, and I'm not showing up on Instagram and my stories the way that I typically would, but that is okay because I'm still showing up for myself and for my business. I'm still showing up to record this podcast. It's not like I take the littlest excuse and just don't work. I always work. It's just as a busy mom, sometimes it looks different. Sometimes it can be more on the front end. Sometimes it's more on the back end. But no matter what, I'm always showing up for my business. And that is the most underrated marketing effort that there is, that people don't really talk about. That, hey, it doesn't matter how perfect your editorial calendar is or your spreadsheet is, or your Instagram feed. Doesn't matter how perfect anything is if you are not wholeheartedly showing up for your business and for the things that keep it running. If we don't tell people what it is that we're doing, what we're selling, what we're trying to book more of, then they're not going to know. If we don't show up and tell them these things constantly, hey, I'm Elizabeth and I'm a wedding photographer and I love capturing your memories on your most important day. And these are the type of people that I like to serve. And we have to constantly show up on social media or our blog or wherever it might be and remind the people of what it is that we do, why we do it, how it can help them, all these things over and over and over. A lot of times people come to me for help. And, they're like, I'm just not booking anything. Nobody's coming. Nobody wants me to, take their pictures or whatever it might be. Nobody's buying my product. And I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing to tell people about it? And they're like, well, I don't really post on Instagram anymore. And I can't really figure out Facebook. And to break it down, they're not doing anything. They're not showing up. They're not showing up in any space to tell people what it is that we're doing. And we're so lucky to have social media nowadays. Like, we can show up on a platform that's completely free and scream from the rooftops. what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it. And if we constantly show up and do that with, a full heart and an abundant mindset, people will be on board. You will find your people. We cannot succeed in marketing and booking and selling if we don't show up. It's so simple, but so important. And I know I talk about it a lot, but that's because I wholeheartedly believe that no matter how perfect or imperfect or messy we are, that if we show up, we will find our tribe and our people. So speaking of tribe, let's dive in to pillar number 2, which is the networking part. Networking is my marketing plan. I mean, I am so about relationships with people and how those relationships can impact your business. I have talked about that in numerous podcast episodes. And I really believe that the relationships that we make in the world and in our community are more powerful than any editorial calendar, any, social media marketing plan. The actual human-to-human relationships will trump everything, in my opinion. So it is very important that you have some type of networking plan, that you're putting relationships at the forefront of your business. So when I say a networking plan, I don't sit down every month and say, okay, how am I going to network this month? Like, this is a free-flowing, natural thing for me. I'm an extrovert. I love people. I know it's not that easy for everyone. So that's why I created spaces online, like the Mastermind program, the local Hampton Roads community. If you struggle with this and you feel like you're not, good enough to sit with the cool kids, then you've got to find a community that makes you feel like you are good enough, because you are good enough. So if you struggle with that piece, with the networking piece, and you feel like you have a hard time building relationships in your business, I want to encourage you to find a safe space. If you're struggling to find a safe space, reach out to me. I know so many different options. But that part is important, those relationships and the tribe. And I'm going to give you an example of how this directly relates to your marketing efforts. So a lot of times when I'm launching a really big program like the Find Your Five Mastermind program, or even the Creative Network program that I'm working on the local level, it sells itself because of these relationships that I've made. And, people were online selling the mastermind program for me. I sold the majority of the tickets in the last 24 hours because I reached out to my tribe, to my VIPs, and I said, hey, I've got a couple seats to fill in 24 more hours. Would you mind sharing this for me? And I sent them exactly the information that they needed to share it. I made it really easy for them, gave images if they needed it. But I really just said, hey, the best thing that you can do is just hop on and do an Instagram story and talk about me and talk about what it is that I do. And I made that ask. And I felt comfortable making that ask because these are my VIPs. These are people that love to do the work that I'm doing, which is to shine the light on other people. And I had spent so much time shining the light on them at some point or another and sharing what they're up to, that it was a no-brainer that when I needed their help, that they came running. And I sold out in the last 24 hours, all because I had this tribe of people that were also sharing the work that I was doing. We can all stick to ourselves and share on our own platform, but if we don't actually make connections with other people and care about what they're doing, why are they going to care about what we're doing, right? We have to care about the work that other people are doing because that's why we're all here. We all want to be seen. We all want to be heard. And if we can see and hear someone else, then they're going to see and hear us even louder. I hope that makes sense. But I just want to hammer home how important the networking and the relationships are. And that's why for me, I count that as a huge chunk of my marketing effort, because the work that I do into pouring into relationships is always going to come back, and it's going to come back more genuine and more meaningful than any spreadsheet or editorial calendar that I could create. The last thing I'm going to talk about is focusing on what we love. So of course we want to do more of the things we love because it's fun, but this can actually play into how we market ourselves too. And what I mean is actually this thing called your brand voice. The way that we talk on social media, the way that we interact, our taglines, any type of words or writing that we're using to talk to our audience is attracting them, right? Attracting certain people, repelling certain people. And this is going to help us book or sell more of what we want. So if we focus on what we love to book, we will book more of that, okay? Here's an example. The couples that I work with, the brides and grooms that are getting married, same-sex couples, it doesn't matter. I love all of it. They love heirlooms and happy hour and questionable dance moves. And that's the way that I speak to them. I have had people book me specifically for that word heirloom, or specifically because I'm totally okay with bad dancing and dancing to our own beat. And I share crazy moments on my Instagram stories, like when a groomsman splits his pants on the dance floor. That's what makes my couples unique and different. And those are the people that I want to work with, right? They're fun loving. They have a good time. They don't take life too seriously. Knowing who your people are and getting really clear on their character traits and their personalities is going to help you speak to them in a way that's going to attract more of them. That brand voice is such a big part of our marketing efforts. So what does your client or your person look like? What do they like to do? The biggest kind of oopsie I see in the wedding industry and the way that people speak is they'll say, I serve couples who believe in forever. Well, that's every couple, right? People get married because they believe in forever. So what makes your couples different than mine? What makes them different than, the wedding planner or the photographer's client next to you? That's really important. And we're really digging into that in the Creative Network right now, actually. So it's at the forefront of my mind of really asking people these, thought-provoking questions and how they can speak and interact on social media to do more of what they love. Because when we're doing what we love and we're focusing on serving those ideal people and doing more of the things that bring us the most joy, we're going to be doing better work. And when we do better work, we're sharing better work, which means we're marketing for that thing that we want more of. So focusing on what it is that you love instead of focusing on everything is actually a marketing thing, right? Our brand voice is the more marketing guru way to put it. So I hope that helps. I hope you got a couple of messy marketing takeaways. But guess what? Next week, my business bestie, Angie McPherson, is going to be joining us for a marketing happy hour. So we're going to be digging in even more to all of these topics that have to do with marketing. She's such a marketing guru, and she's going to be sharing with us some actionable tips that will also help my type A people, my messy success type B people, and we're just going to have a really fun, laid back chit chat all about marketing. So I hope you'll join us next week. Once again, thanks for joining today. I hope that you'll embrace your imperfect, messy success and continue to just show up for your business, show up doing more of the things that you love, and go out into the world and build those meaningful relationships, because that's what's going to make it happen. We've got to show up, we've got to do the work, we've got to put our heart first, and we've got to care about other people. Just a reminder, if you are local to Hampton Roads, the price for the Creative Network is going to be going up October 1st. So if you haven't gotten in yet, make sure you join. You get quarterly headshots, monthly think tank days, and access to our exclusive collaborative community. You can go to elizabethhensonphotos.com/creative network. Also, make sure you come over and visit the show notes at elizabethhensonphotos.com/1 @elizabeth.13 for all the links and details about today's episode. Otherwise, I will see you next week with Angie. I can't wait. And as always, thank you for being here. Without you, there would be no Messy Success Podcast. If we haven't connected on Instagram, I'd love for you to come say hi at instagram.com/Elizabeth.Henson. That's my handle, Elizabeth.Henson. All right, guys, have a great one.